Dillian Whyte versus Joe Joyce will not be close. Make sure to stick around till the end because I'm going to give you my breakdown on the fight and also my reaction to the first press conference. If you're new to the channel, my name's Lawrence Oswecki, a professional boxer and also a former member of GB amateur boxing team, boxing all over the world at various tournaments alongside Dillian's opponent, Joe Joyce. Me and Joe were also roommates, so I know him very well, so I've got that secret insight. It's scheduled to take place on the 5th of April in Manchester, and it's labelled Heavy Impact because there's 3 heavyweight fights, so expect drama and knockouts. This fight for Dillian and Joe is a huge fight. It's a must win because both guys are looking to get their career back on track. Joe since losing to Dazn twice, and Dillian's been trying to get back in the mix in big fights ever since really getting knocked out by Tyson Fury. It has the potential to be an absolute classic. Both guys always come to fight. Both guys love a war, and I think the styles will gel. I think it's going to be absolute fireworks. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe because it really helps the channel grow. And if you want to take it a step further, hit the bell notification button so you don't miss a video. Let's be honest, neither guy has the best defense, but the fans want to see blood and guts, and that's what you'll get with these two. But the casual fan anyway don't want to watch a chess match, so happy days. Before we break it down, let's take a look at the press conference. And also, the other fight that I'm interested in is Lawrence Okolie versus Riakporhe because they've got previous beef. Let's take a quick look at them first.
The last time I actually saw these two guys around each other, it was on a red carpet and they had to be separated.
I remember this. I was hoping then that the fight would happen, but for one reason or another, it never happened.
I just want to know what happened that night on the red carpet, to be honest.
It was simple. He came in my space. I didn't like it. And then I just saw red.
You can tell straight away that Richard is angry. He's got some deep hatred for Lawrence for one reason or another.
I didn't actually disrespect him. Went over to him and I said, Madonna's old now. And then they set off instantly. So...
For anyone that doesn't know, Richard also does modelling and he was seen photographed with Madonna. Obviously when they've met, Lawrence has pulled him about it, taken the mick, and Richard's felt disrespected and seen red and it's all went off. It's ridiculous really. Okolie's just got this really patronising way about him and it just gets right underneath Richard's skin.
You nervous, Richard?
I'm scared of a big hug. It might suffocate me. That's what I'm scared of.
I think these two just clash, completely different people. They definitely don't like each other. It's definitely genuine beef.
I'm going to do it with you in good fashion. And then you can go back to kissing Madonna or doing whatever you do in your modelling career. And we'll leave it at that.
Okay, we're going to see about that.
Okolie basically says he's above Richards and he says it with real arrogance. But he is really, and he's also earned the right because he's the 2-weight world champion. Anyway, I think this one's going to be another fiery one because the two of them definitely don't like each other.
The body snatcher.
George is very good at putting people to sleep, but not by knocking him out because he's so fucking boring. He's the only man I know that can put coffee to sleep.
I think I've missed Dillian. He's so entertaining and he's got this dry humour and he knows how to trash talk. I'm glad that he's back in the mix in these type of fights.
Oh, that's cool. You bring the jokes.
And you're not going to get too much from Joe Joyce. I love the guy, but talking isn't his strong point.
As long as you can keep speaking for, go on.
You say so.
This is like playground stuff. You speak. No, you speak.
I'm going to punch you in the face. You're going to try and punch me in the face, but I'm going to win at the end of the day.
That statement sounds so convincing and so eloquent.
Joe Joyce is so misunderstood. People think he's stupid, but take it from someone who knows him. The guy's extremely intelligent. He's got degrees in knowledge in so many different areas. But like I say, he's just not the best with his words.
His main defense is to keep getting hit until he get tired and then he trains. That's his main defense.
I mean, it works.
Joe's defense isn't great. We all know it. He knows it. But he's hard as nails. He's like a diesel engine. He just keeps coming and coming, and eventually he wears you down. And when I say that, most of the time, we all know what happened against Big Bang Zhang, but he was just all wrong for Joe.
It's all good now, but 10 years from now, you're gonna go to your house. The sat doesn't say you're home. You're like, I don't live here.
I can't lie, even in the amateurs at tournaments, he used to take far too many punches. In the same in sparring, I've watched so many rounds. He used to just eat them for fun. He was borderline greedy greedy.
I ain't got nothing personal with him, but it's fight. We're here to fight, and that's it, you know?
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good fight, man, and you bring
it's
a lot
going
to
off.
the table,
It's going
man.
off.
There's clearly respect between the pair, and I do know that they've sparred many rounds together, which earns respect. So regardless of what's said here, it's going to be a great fight because both guys will definitely bring it.
Joe's one of the best amateurs the UK's ever had. He went to the Olympics, you know what I mean? I had 7 amateur fights.
People forget about Joe Joyce's pedigree. He was a great amateur. Regardless of whether he took punches or not, he could fight.
Dillian Whyte is sat next to Lawrence Okolie here, and a few years ago I saw a sparring video saying this is what happens when I slapped about your favourite heavyweight.
This guy knows how to cause trouble, but I like it.
What's with that, bro? What's with that, bro? What's with that?
Dylan's a fight that I've always wanted. We should still get on.
Boom. That's how you do it. I do like the way they've done this press conference, putting all the heavyweights together, side by side, sitting next to each other. It's almost like putting a load of lions together, dominant lions, you know, building the tension and building future fights. Okay, so Dylan and Joe, last time they fought, neither of them really looked great. But Dylan looked terrible. Eteti was able to just push him back, and he had no real movement or defence. He just walked forward like this. Dylan should have been a level above. On paper, Eteti's record looked good. 23 wins and 20 knockouts. But he did have one loss, and that loss was to Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois knocked him out in 1 round. And that puts it in perspective, because Daniel Dubois made light work of it. Whereas Dylan, he struggled really. Early in the fight, Eteti did look dangerous. He was throwing absolute bombs, and he was catching Dylan. But by 5 rounds, both guys were tired. They were absolutely knackered. By round 7, Eteti had nothing left, because like I say, he had been throwing absolute bombs, and he retired on his stool. And I think it was Dillian Whyte's experience that carried him through. At times in the fight, it's nothing new, I've seen it before, but Dylan was throwing punches so wildly he put himself on the floor. Sometimes his legs just don't look right. He looks like Bambi, like he's learning to walk for the first time. Both guys have got technical flaws. We know Joe hasn't got the best defence, but what I would say, he's got better footwork than Dylan, and he's got one hell of an engine. He comes forward, he applies the pressure, he's relentless, he throws so many punches. As an amateur, I've seen Joe compete all over the world, mixing it with the best. I've seen hundreds of rounds of sparring with world-class operators. Joe on his day is a nightmare for anybody. You know, if you look at his resume, it speaks for itself. Olympic silver medalist. And I've seen firsthand, Joe's mentality is different. He's so tunnel-visioned. He doesn't think about pacing himself. He's like a Duracell battery. He's just go. Even back in my GB days, we'd be down the track with a team doing sustained runs, and Joe would just take off. He would eventually slow down when his brain and his legs got in sync, but the thought of pacing himself just wouldn't come to his mind. He's 6'5" and he can do a backflip. He's so athletic. In the amateurs, when we're at tournaments and he won, he would celebrate by doing a backflip. It's crazy. The question is, how much has he got left? Because personally, I don't think he's the same fighter he once was. But saying that, neither guy is. I think both guys have seen better days. Dylan did have a period of inactivity because he failed a test, but then he got cleared, but that's the reason why he got kept out the mix. Last time out, Joe did lose to Derek Chisora, someone that Dillian Whyte has beaten twice, but that was over 4 years ago, so you can't take too much from it. And it was only 2 years ago that Joe Joyce beat Joseph Parker. And look at the turnaround Joseph Parker's had. This is where in boxing, styles make fights. Because Joe lost to Dazn twice, and the style was just all wrong for him. Yet he beat Joseph Parker, and Joseph Parker beat Dazn. It's just the way it goes. Another example recently, Derek Chisora just well beat Otto Wallen. Yet Otto Wallen gave Tyson Fury all sorts of problems. Yet Tyson Fury destroyed Derek Chisora. And just quickly, I want to give credit to Derek Chisora. He's an absolute warrior. He pulled off another win. I mean, he's an absolute dog. When it comes to heart, it doesn't get much bigger. He's the type of guy, if you came home from work and found him in bed with your wife, you'd make sure he was comfy, tuck him in, apologise and leave. Win, lose or draw, Derek's fought the best, at the highest level. He's been pro since 2007 and he's still here fighting big names. And getting back to Joe Joyce, what he did show against Derek Chisora, when he used his jab and boxed at range, he was a problem, similar to what he done to Daniel Dubois. And again, another guy that's turned it around in Daniel Dubois. He's the current IBF world champion. But quite often, Joe gets sucked into a fight. But at his best, he boxes at range, using his feet, taking advantage of his height and reach, putting punches in bunches. That's when he's at his best. This is where Dillian could get success. If Joe neglects his footwork and stands in the pocket, one thing I know that Dillian's good at countering. And this is where, funny enough, that Derek got success against Joe, countering off the ropes. And Dillian Whyte is definitely a better counterpuncher than Derek Chisora. Last time out, Dillian struggled against the Teti. And Joe Joyce, even on a bad day, is a level above. Not forgetting, Dillian Whyte's been knocked out heavily 3 times. And going off his last fight, he definitely wasn't fit. And you only get that from being active, being match fit. And as the saying goes in boxing, you're only as good as your last fight. And unfortunately, I have to say, last time out, Dillian Whyte was dog shite. Also not forgetting, Joe did get dropped in his last fight, but I think he more got caught square. But nonetheless, he went down, but he got straight back up, and his legs seemed fine. I do think the knockdown against Derek cost him the fight, because it was a close fight. And I also think Derek Chisora is like boxing royalty, so I do think that helped sway the decision. Unless you nail Joe to the canvas, he's a problem. And Derek said after the fight how tough it was, and his face told the story, whereas Joe, he looked fresh as a daisy. Even in the amateurs, I never really seen Joe with a mark on his face. Even after a war, he's a different breed. I think he's just got skin like a rhino. Maybe his dad was a rhino. I think I'll Google it. I believe this fight's going to come down to who's got more left in the tank. And right now, I believe it's Joe Joyce. The harsh reality, the loser may have to call it a day. That's the brutal truth. It's a make or break fight. Please let me know what you think. Please let me know in the comment section. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.